And welcome, streamers. Those of you dialing us up here on the FOX13 local app, we appreciate you joining us. Welcome to Studio B. I'm Mark Wilson with Nikita Johnson. How are you, my man?
Very good. Excited to be here.
Well, we're so glad to have you. Rising star in motorsports. I mean, we could sit here and talk for hours about all the youngest records that you have. But for our viewers who are first joining us who don't know about Nikita, from Gulfport, you guys have really become kind of our first family of racing because you and your brother are racing, but you got some big news. I know you just came off of Daytona. So let's start there. You're going to be racing, of course, next weekend for the Grand Prix for the Indy NXT series, right? And
Yes,
that's
sir.
with Cape Motorsports. And that's a full-time season this year, right?
Mm-hmm. Full year.
Right. And you've done the St. Pete, what, 2 or 3 times before?
This will be my 4th year.
Okay. All
And
right.
I've won it twice in the junior categories.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to this year? How do you think it's going to go?
I think
It's hard to
it's going
predict,
to go
but-
pretty good. I mean, in testing, we've been pretty fast,
Yeah.
top 3, top 5 most of the time. And I know St. Pete very well, of course. You know, I live here, so sometimes I go downtown and imagine I'm driving. But, yeah, very excited. Hopefully we can make it a 3rd hometown win and win in front of all the friends and family.
Tell me, while we're talking about St. Pete, tell me about that track because I, in covering a lot of these races in the past 10, 15 years, it's really struck me how, not to drop any names, but I know you'll appreciate this. When I did a ride with Mario, he's like, this is literally one of my favorite tracks in the world. This is like our Le Mans here. This is our, and so many drivers really say that they love this track. Why do you guys like this track so much?
It's extremely interesting. It's almost like our version of Monaco when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, we have the marina there right on the water. The thing Monaco doesn't have is we race on an airstrip. You know, going into turn 1, we're on the landing strip. So every year those bumps kind of change a little bit just around the track from road traffic and just a little bit sinking here and there. But the biggest thing that we have is the off-camber and on-camber on the entries because we have the crest in the road for the water drainage. So when you think about it on
These
entry,
roads are not flat.
they're
right?
not flat. When you go downtown, some parts of it have really big crests in the middle. So when you're on the entry, it's off camber and wants to suck you to the outside. But as soon as you get to the middle, it's flat, and then you get to the inside, it's on camber and it sucks you into the corner. And so most tracks don't really have that. So it's just
You know,
crazy.
I never thought about that. And that's because obviously we need our water to drain because between floodwaters and all the rain that we do get. I never thought about that. And that does affect the race car, obviously.
Yeah, so much. And sometimes it's really difficult, like the double right in the back section. When you come off on the exit, it's off camber. And so everybody, most of the time, will skim the wall there. And some
Now,
people
where are you talking?
go hit I think it's turn 8, 9. I'm not exactly sure. It's a double right before we come down the strip and go to the marina and go down that left.
Down there probably by the yacht club, right?
Yes,
Searching around
exactly.
demons.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it's extremely off camber on that exit, and you have to be very careful there.
Yeah.
But yeah, most tracks don't have that crest in the middle, and it's pretty interesting. It gives it a good taste.
Yeah. Let's back up a little bit because you've been racing around here for so long as you can remember. You won just about every championship that you ever competed in. And you obviously started in karts, right? Tell me about that start. And when was that moment that you said, not only do I like this, gee, I'm winning and I can be really good at this. When was that moment that you remember?
So I actually don't really remember how I started, except my parents told me. I was supposed to be a hockey player. So I was on the ice for when I was like 3 until 6, I think. And then I had a NASCAR seat, Dale Earnhardt Jr. seat, like a little kid seat. So obviously,
This is the
to be
car seat
safe.
in the car.
Yeah, it's a car seat in the car. And my mom was getting the BMW serviced, and one of the guys there was actually a shifter kart driver. And he raced, all over the U.S. and in Florida. And he told us about, a racetrack in Palmetto, which is now T4 Motorsports Park.
Cartplex, yeah.
Or Kartplex. And back then it was Anderson Race Park. And we went down there and drove a few times, and instantly I was hooked. Then after that, we did my first race, I think, in Jacksonville, and I won that, and I was hooked. Yeah. And after that, there was no going back to hockey. I still love hockey to this day, but, winning, it's just incredible.
Look at some of these pictures here. This is you last year on the streets of St. Pete. That had to be I know that was your 3rd time. This will be your 4th. And I love your helmet with the Skyway. Your custom helmet is so Florida. It's so awesome. When you're zipping around that track and the Florida state flag up there on top of the helmet too, when you're zipping around that track, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking, wow, this is cool, I'm racing in my hometown, or are you just trying to get to the front?
I'm just trying to get to the front. As soon as I put that helmet on, I don't have any other thoughts besides driving.
That's that turn you were talking about, I think.
Exactly.
I've watched you from that parking lot of the yacht club right
Yes.
there. That's a great spot.
Yeah, so if you go to that exit right there on the second right, you'll see that there's a big crest there. And there's probably going to be some tire marks there on the wall after the weekend.
Yeah. So starting with T4 at Kartplex, you're really putting some good laps in, and then you saying, Mom, Dad, I really like this. I want to go again. Want to go again. Want to go again. And then obviously that starts evolving, right?
Yes, that starts evolving. I keep moving up classes, winning in the U.S., winning in Florida. And then when I was 8 and 9, I went over to Europe and competed in a class called Mini 60, which is like ages 8 to 10. And I was on 3 different factory teams in that time. And then after that, I came back home, moved up another class, went to juniors, so that's about 10 to 13, did that. And then instead of going to seniors and shifter, I went to cars very early. So I did Legends racing up in North Carolina, South Carolina, even Georgia. I did asphalt ovals with a team called Joe Ryan Race Cars.
Yeah.
And then Ron Hornaday was also there helping us, learn ovals and everything.
And that was your Legends car?
That was my Legends car.
Okay.
So those were extremely fun. But I ended up doing that on asphalt ovals, dirt ovals, and road course. And so that gave me all the car control I have today.
Yeah.
Then I went to USF Juniors, won in that, USF 2000, won there, USF Pro, won there. Then I went over to Europe, which was very interesting. I went to GB3. So
Hold on, let me stop you. So go back to USF.
Yeah.
You won at all 3 levels here. You were the youngest too, and they have since changed the rules. We understand because of you. This is the Nikita Johnson rule.
Yes, exactly. I remember like 2 days after I turned 16, I won that weekend in Indianapolis, and then 2 days later after I turned 16, I saw in my email that they changed all the rules to 14, 15, and 16. I was like, oh, well, that's pretty cool.
So you're going to have those records now for, until they change them again. But hopefully it doesn't happen. So you've got Indy next this year with Cape Motorsports. But then you're just coming off of, and we have some pictures of this too, an incredible weekend at Daytona. You were signed by Ray Hall Letterman for their IMSA series. And that had to be incredible in the Rolex 24, right?
Yes, it was a dream come true. I remember watching all those races as a little kid, going to the Sebring 12 hours and Daytona 24 hours. And to get that opportunity was amazing. It was pretty last minute, so it was my first time driving there.
That's the McLaren. And you
such
said
a pretty
you
car.
hardly had any seat time in this thing at all?
I had no seat time before the Roar, which is the weekend before the actual race.
So just a practice session and you're hot.
Yeah, just like I think 3 practice sessions or 4, and then we went racing.
We talked about those driver swaps too. You raced 4 or 6 different stints that weekend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a stint's about 45, 50 minutes, around like 33 laps. And I did 6 of them.
I just got a headache looking at that steering wheel.
Yeah.
What in the world is going on? There's there with Bobby Rahal, of course.
Yeah, so we have the steering wheel, and then we have on the dashboard, we actually numbered them because at night it's really hard to see the buttons. So we have 2 columns, A and B.
There's
through
that picture,
8.
by the way. You
As a
were
little
probably,
kid.
what, 6, 7 right there?
Right around there, yeah,
Yeah.
a very young kid.
All right, back to the steering wheel.
Yeah, we have so many buttons. And,
And you're adjusting those during the race.
On some of them, like the traction control, ABS, and then sometimes the engine mapping on if we want more lift and coast to save fuel and energy.
Okay.
And then we have the brake bias as well, but that's over on the dash.
Okay, so dumb question, because I really don't know. I really wouldn't even begin. I know roughly what camber is, but is that something that, kind of like an NFL playbook, are you studying up on what these things can do? Because there's only so much time, especially if you just had just a couple of laps before you actually race, to learn how to do that while you're driving the car. How do you prepare to be able to make those modifications and changes during the race when you just don't have much time?
Yes, so the team actually gives me a bunch of pre-event reports. So I get a report on, the whole dash layout and the steering wheel, because obviously I didn't see any of it before I got there. I didn't even look at the car before the weekend. And then they give me the pre-event on, what the setups are on the car, so I have a general understanding of what we can change and what's possible on it. So they give me a lot of resources, which is pretty nice.
Yeah. So put a bow on it. Great experience. You think you do that again?
Oh, for sure. Hopefully I come back next year.
Yeah. And you were driving at night in the fog, both of which you'd never done in a race car.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. All right. We have Nikita Johnson with us, one of the rising stars in motorsports from Gulfport, Florida. Hang tight because we got to talk about your big party. You're going to have a pre-kickoff party at O'Matty's on the 25th, right?
Yes, sir.
That's always fun. All right, sit tight. We're going to talk about that. We also have Dad here. We're going to get a
Yes.
few sound bites from Dad. We want to talk about Dad because I know he's been your partner in so much of this too.
Partner in crime forever. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. We'll be right back with Nikita Johnson. And welcome back into Studio B. Appreciate everybody dialing us up here on the Fox Local app. We're talking racing. This is our racing father. This is Obi Johnson. Not only Nikita's father, but also Kai's, because you got two boys racing.
Got two of
them. And they're both standouts. They're both stars. And they're both exemplary young men, too.
Thank you.
You guys, you've done such a great job. And I know this is not easy. But let's start with Nikita, because obviously Nikita's just setting the world on fire right now. That had to be special in Daytona. Let's start there. What was it like to see him in that hot rod?
It was a dream.
Yeah.
Come true. We've been going for many, many years. I've been going since '83.
Yeah.
Almost every year. And to watch him step into a top-tier sports car and race was great. But then to watch him finish it, no accidents. They were the fastest lap, I believe, during the race. They qualified the car P2. They had a software technical issue that dropped them down in the order, but other than that, all four drivers did an amazing job, and the car did a great job. First time on track for that car with Bobby Rahal. I mean, it's raced other series, but that was the first time for the car, so it was great.
I'm a big racing fan, and I've always learned something new every time I talk to you guys, every time I watch some of these races. And I'm still fascinated by the fact, we watch a lot of professional sports. We watch football, we watch baseball, we watch college football. These athletes are doing this all the time year round. There's nothing quite like racing, though, because just to hear Nikita say, I got 2 practice sessions in this car I'd never driven before, and then just like that, I'm in the race. That takes a whole nother skill set of, not that I have to learn this and I have the skill. I got to learn it instantly, and I've got to be able to adapt. That's just incredible to me.
Well, it's because he's been doing it since he's basically 5.
Yeah.
And we put him in a lot of positions to learn where he had to race simultaneously in different cars at different levels. And the ability to adapt between, say, dry and rain, or between 2 different cars basically in the same day. He did that for a couple of years in a row. And he's been to so many tracks, I don't know, probably 40, 50 tracks around the world now, that last year alone, he raced in 4 championships, 4 different cars, even though they're all Formula 3 cars. They were 4 different cars, different aero, different gearboxes, different tire manufacturers. Yeah. And that allows you to then get into a car like this and jump in and acclimate very quickly.
Let's talk a little bit about you guys. I mean, obviously you guys spend a lot of time together, but you guys have toured the world. You're right there with him with most of these races, if not all of them. Got to be just incredibly special to have some of these moments at the track.
Well,
whether you're winning or not.
Well, absolutely. We do a lot together. Besides this, when we were in New Zealand, for example, early last year, we started doing street luge with all the drivers and Dad and a couple of coaches, and we all, got scars to prove it.
Sure, I bet.
And we go fishing. We do a lot of different things. Like we grill out together. We just do almost everything together.
Let's back up, and I want to talk a little bit about getting him started and when that moment was for you, when you realized, oh boy, he's really got something here. He's adapting to this quickly, and he's a lot quicker than these other kids his age. When was that moment for you?
When he was in micro karts, and we were racing around the state of Florida, and he was doing well, and then all of a sudden he knew everything. And I remember I said, well, I'm not going to help you. And then he didn't do really well. And then he came back and he said, Dad, can you help me again? And when that second time, he started winning. And there was a moment in time when we went to West Palm Beach. It used to be called Moroso Speedway, Palm Beach International. And he was really not very good. And when we were practicing. And 3 weeks later, we went back. And we were watching video and trying to help him understand, like, this is what you have to do through these S corners. You got to really bang these curbs. You got to jump the curbs. And when he came back, he did the same all driving around the curbs. And I said, no, you got to bang the curbs. And when he listened, he ended up winning that race. And I remember all the little boys carrying him out on their shoulders because he had beat basically the track champion that no one had beaten for 2 years.
Amazing.
And he beat him. And I said, he can do it. He can do it. And,
And how old was he then?
Oh, my God. And maybe 8 years old that he can do it. Because, the most important thing, I think a lot of coaches will tell you this, is coachability. You have to have somebody that's going to listen. It's not enough to have skills. If you don't listen, it's difficult to progress.
Sure.
But he was able to progress. And then we would do things like go up to Ocala on a rain day where nobody else is at the track and practice in the rain for 8 hours to learn how to, race in the rain, basically.
Yeah.
Things that we've done, you don't see that when you win, but there's a lot behind the scenes. It's like an iceberg. You just see the tip.
Yeah. It's fascinating to see where he is now. So you got Cape, you got a full-time Indy next season this year, and then you've also got the IMSA series, and so he's actually racing for 2 completely different circuits, both full-time.
Both full-time. He's racing 17 races in the Indy NXT series, which is kind of like the minor league, to IndyCar, and then he's racing GTD Pro, which is a top-level GT3 class in the world. He's racing that series. I think there's 11 races, 6 of which I believe are endurance races. Yeah. So he's basically doing 28 races this year. And then on top of that, we'll probably have a dozen test days because he's at a professional level. They don't allow you to test whenever you want.
Sure.
We call it practice. We call it testing. We don't call it practice.
Right.
So we'll be gone, a lot of the weekends of the year, and we'll be practicing other weekends of the year. Yeah. So we have some weekends off though.
So when you're not with him, you got number 2.
Kai.
Let's talk about Kai. I know we have some videos, some pictures of Kai too. Kai's been lighting it up himself.
He won the Formula 4 FARA Championship this past year at age 12. And he's very talented. And it's interesting because they're different drivers. They think differently on the track. One of them is, I think, more contemplative, and one of them's more brute force. And Kai's more the brute force driver. He's a different driver than Nikita. So coaching them, you have to coach them differently. What I say to Nikita wouldn't work to Kai or vice versa.
Isn't that interesting? Well, and I'm sure in his own right he wants to be his own driver, but I know he wants to beat his big
Nikita.
Brother. He does. So that's driving him.
Funny story, we were in Orlando and we put them both in they both went up a kart class and we put them on the track at the same time. Kai went out first in a mini. Nikita was faster in a junior, and he goes out. And on the very first lap, on this one corner, Kai slows down, and when his brother comes by, he turns over and just wrecks him.
Brothers.
And he claimed he was going to run out of fuel. I was like, what, we just put you on the track? So, yeah.
And he won his series last year, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, champion. That's amazing. Let's talk about O'Malley's, because I know this is important. We've got a lot of support, and it's got to be so proud for you to know that the city, several years, since 2019, you guys have been one of the ambassador families, and he's been one of our ambassador racers for this Grand Prix week, and that's a big deal to represent the city in something like this.
Well, we know, City Council and Mayor Welch has been gracious to us, and former City Council Chairman Charlie Gerdes, who I knew from a past life, and we always fly the Florida flag on the top of the helmet. It's in the helmet embedded. And he noticed that, and then he invited us and the Weldons, Sebastian and Oliver Weldon, and Nikita and Kai in 2019, and they voted to make them the Sunshine State Ambassadors to the race. Yeah. It was actually when the Firestone race got their extension, So Kevin was there, and Mr. Green and Savory, they're both there. And somebody muttered in the crowd, because they did a bunch of video, that at some point we'd see them very soon. And we didn't realize how soon.
So we're kicking off the party on the 25th.
It's a Wednesday before
That's
the race.
That's at O'Malley's at 6 o'clock, right?
O'Malley's Boulevard. And we're going to be, we have Greg Billings and the Stay Up Lates playing, one of our favorite guys, Greg. And so the band will be playing from 6 to 9 p.m. and the party will probably kick off a little early and it might go a little later.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, it is a celebration indeed to kick off, to celebrate all of his success. And also looking forward to an amazing season with you guys this year for full. And I didn't realize you weren't full-time Indy NXT, but you're full-time, the 2 full-time series.
We're full-time, both series.
Right. And then your IMSA series with Ray Hall Letterman, that's going to be exciting too.
It's great because the very next race is we're obviously going to do St. Pete, and then we go to the streets of Arlington at Indy NXT, and then right after that we do, I think, the 12 hours of Sebring. Yeah. So we'll be down in Sebring racing, that. It'll be a 3 driver effort at that point, but that's a 12-hour race.
Okay. Very good. All right, Obi, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Secrets out there for dads watching who wants to race some racers?
Spend your money on practice time, not race time.
Yeah, well done. All right, don't move. We're going to have Nikita back. We're going to talk a little bit more about the party and as he gets ready for the Grand Prix, the big Grand Prix coming up. Don't move, right here on FOX13 Unscripted.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And welcome back to Studio B, FOX13 Unscripted, back with Nikita Johnson. This has got to be almost feel like Christmas Eve for you, huh?
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. Getting the season started, 2 full-time series, but obviously it kicks off with the Grand Prix in St. Pete. We're excited for you. Everybody's going to be watching and cheering you on. I'll be at that little perch right above the yacht club, that's for sure. But tell me, what's life been like outside of racing, growing up in Gulfport?
Yes, so obviously we do a lot of training with racing, but when I don't do training, we've always been fishing around the neighborhood on the golf course, which
I see you guys out a lot. Yeah.
Sometimes not supposed to, but we get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love to fish. I mean, I love to go grill out with my friends and family. I love to cook. I mean, I love to go fish and then cook it up. But other than that, I'm trying to get into golf. I'm not exactly the best at it, but that's my, I guess, New Year's resolution for 2026. I do that. I used to go rock climbing a lot. It's really good for the body. And then I just love coming downtown St. Pete, also Gulfport.
Yeah.
Both are extremely nice. So I just love to spend sometimes a little bit of time downtown St. Pete on the weekends.
It has changed a lot, and it is so neat. And this Grand Prix, I mean, there are people, so many eyeballs, the millions and millions of eyeballs that will be on the city yet again in 2 weeks when this happens. It's really exciting, and they're all going to be watching you as well. So you guys race it, is it like 10 or is it 11? It's before...
I think it might be 10.
I think it might be 10.
But
okay.
the schedule's not fully finalized yet. But
Right.
usually it's right before the IndyCar race.
Okay. Is that weekend, I know because it's here and you have a lot of friends, is it get a little crazy for you, or are you able to kind of manage that?
It gets pretty crazy sometimes, but I'm usually good at managing my time and then being strict on my schedule. So, yes, it can be crazy with everybody wanting to see you, and I have probably like 100 or 200 people come out that I know, friends and family friends, and then just fans that have known me the past few years and hear my name and stuff. So it's sometimes a little bit tricky getting through the paddock and getting to where I need to be, but it's I love doing it. Wouldn't change it.
Nice problem to have, getting the attention like that.
Yes.
But it's so well deserved. We appreciate all your time, and we're so excited for you. Hopefully you have not one good season, but 2 good seasons in one. I mean, that's really what you're hoping for, right?
Yes, sir. 2 good seasons, and hopefully IndyCar next year.
And these are 2 very different cars.
Oh, they're fully different. I mean, when you think about it, the McLaren GT3 that I drive in the IMSA, that's pretty much a production car that's made for racing now. And then you go to the Indy NXT, that's a purpose-built open-wheel car that, you can't buy anywhere.
Right.
So it's completely different with just that, the chassis. And then the aero, the Indy NXT has so much aero compared to a regular GT car. So it's completely different driving styles.
And when you say aero we got some more pictures of, when you say aero for the folks who are kind of race fans but don't quite understand, meaning when you're behind somebody, and tell me exactly what you mean by aero.
So when we have the front wing and the back wing, it creates downforce. It's the opposite of a wing on an airplane. So a wing on an airplane creates lift, but our wings create downforce, and it keeps us...
Keep you from flying away.
Exactly. So it keeps us sucked down to the track. So if you lose a front wing, you're going to have no grip at all. You're going to be floating across the track pretty much. And that's why when you see those big crashes, when people go up and over, they lose their front wing and they catch air underneath the car, and that's when they flip.
So your job is to take care of that front wing.
Exactly. Keep the car planted, keep the car in one
Right.
piece, and that's the fastest way.
And I'm always amazed at that. Once you do that and you get in a groove, and I remember when we did the kart thing last year at the track, your ability to go into a corner, taking it at the right line as well. My old brain is telling me, oh, God, slow down, you're going to crash. But you have to fight instincts, don't you? Because your brain is telling you, I'm coming into this wall. And that's what's one thing I'm always fascinated with about racers is fighting your instinct to say, you're going too fast in this corner, but you got to say, no, this car can handle it.
Yes, in a way, sometimes you have to almost like shut off your brain and just drive, to not think about what could happen and, there's a wall there or somebody's right there. So in a way, you just have to drive by feeling. And over years of experience, you stop thinking that way of, oh, there's a wall there. I can't push it. I can't do this. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And you remove the word can't from your vocabulary and you go out and do it. And I think it happens. And that's one of the crazy things about racing is you have to push yourself, past the limit, but then you have to bring it back. You can't, drive 110% all the time.
You're right on the edge of disaster. That's
exactly
what makes it so fun. O'Maddy's, well, before we go, here's the flyer for O'Maddy's. It's on Wednesday, February 25th, 6 to 9 or later, as Dad said. Dad's gonna hold the bar open a little bit later, but it should be a great party. Come by and see. You're gonna have your car there, and you're always great to hang out with fans and say hello to.
Yeah,
right?
So always, come by there, and if you see me, flag me down. I'm happy to sign anything or have a little talk about it. Always love meeting fans. You'll probably see me sing Sweet Caroline.
Oh boy,
so
here
we'll
we
see
go.
how that goes.
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
All right. Well, best of luck here coming up on your season. We really appreciate you, and we're so excited for you.
Thank you so much.
Nikita Johnson, Gulfport's own racer. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 13 Unscripted.